We're going on a futuristic journey today to a place that some of you wish didn't exist, to the land of future tenses. Future tense, pretty easy, right? So what will you do tomorrow? I will go to English class. Where will you go on vacation next year? I will go to Italy. No problem. Sorry, there are a few other more difficult future tenses. Many of you know about them, but often people who are learning English are a little nervous to use these more difficult future tenses. And I've even had some students who say, "Are you really sure that you use these in the United States or in England?" And the answer is yes. And today we're going to cover just a couple of these more difficult future tenses. I'm Phil from Mayak in Brno, Czech Republic. Thanks for joining me today. What will you be doing tomorrow? You could say, I will study. That might be true, but what we really could say is, I will be studying all day long tomorrow. This is the future continuous tense. And what we can do with this tense is talk about some action in the future that will be happening over some time. And the important thing is that there is some time that takes place to do this activity. With future continuous, it's important to know that that activity isn't just a short time, but it's a process that will take many hours, maybe all day long. And that's why we have future continuous. So, to make this future continuous sentence, it's pretty simple. We have will, be, plus the ing form of the word. So, I will be studying all day long. And if we need to make a negative, we just add the not. I will not be studying all day long. So what will you be doing tomorrow at 5 p.m.? Just pause this video just for a second and work out in your head what you will be doing tomorrow at 5 p.m. Are you paused? So what will you be doing tomorrow at 5 p.m.? I'll be teaching English tomorrow at 5 p.m. Will you be walking home? Will you be cooking dinner? Will you be playing with your children? What will you be doing tomorrow at 5 p.m.? That wasn't so bad, right? For future continuous, it's important to know that the activity took some time. It was a process. That's the important part for future continuous, that it happened over some time. But if we want to talk about an activity that happened in the future and then it finished sometime between now and then a certain point in the future, that's a different tense. So we said that tomorrow I will be studying all day long. That was our future continuous. But I could use another tense to talk about when my studying will finish in the future. I could say, I will have finished studying by 8 p.m. because I need to watch Netflix in the evening. This sentence will look like this. One more time. I will have finished studying by 8 p.m. I didn't include the Netflix. Maybe you have Disney Plus or something else. So this tells us that I will be studying in the future, but when it's 8 p.m., my studying will finish. It will be finished. So I can say I will have finished studying by 8 p.m. And 8 p.m. is my deadline. I must start watching Netflix at 8 p.m. And how we do that is this. Will have plus the past participle. So here's will have. I will have finished. That's the past participle. Studying by 8 p.m. And again, if we need to make it negative, fine. Add a not between will, not, have. I will not have finished studying by 8 p.m. When using the future perfect tense, there are a few clues that we can use when we read a sentence or when we form a sentence to know that we're going to use that future perfect tense. For example, something like by this time. For example, by this time next week, I will have finished my studies. Or, at some time, at 9 p.m., for example. At 9 p.m., the party will have ended. Another is 3 days from now, or some amount of time from now. So for example, 3 days from now, she will have returned from her business trip. Or by the time something happens. By the time that something happens. So we could say, by the time we eat supper, he will have finished his homework. This by the time, or the 3 days from now, or the at 9 p.m., or the by this time, think of those as deadlines. That's when the activity must finish. So we know this activity that will happen in the future will finish by these deadlines. So these cues, these clues, these phrases are our deadlines in the future perfect. Not bad, right? Now we're ready for the bonus round. Are you ready? Are you ready? If you want, just write in the comments right now, I'm not ready, this is too much, or bring it on. So this is the bonus round. We want to talk about one more tense. The future perfect continuous tense. I like to think of this as something like a combination of the other two future tenses that we've used. It's a little bit of future continuous and a little bit of future perfect. Hey, they call it future perfect continuous, right? This is when, as a teacher, some students look at me with a crazy look in their eyes and they say, "Do you really use this in real speech?" It's true. And after I've had this question a few times, I've thought to myself, do we use this? And then I listen to what I'm speaking when I speak with other native speakers. And we really do use this often in special situations, but plenty of times. Okay, let me give a quick explanation of it. Watch out. It's a little like science fiction, okay? So we're talking here about an activity in the future. And maybe it has already started, maybe it's starting in the present, and maybe it will just still start in the future. We don't know exactly when it will start, but what we're going to do with the future perfect continuous is imagine ourselves going into the future at a certain time, and we're actually looking back at when this activity started and how it is still going, and how it is going until a certain time in the future. Have you ever seen the movie Back to the Future? It's kind of like this, going into the future and looking backwards in time to tell the story of what has been happening, or what will be happening. So it's pretty simple to form. We need will plus have plus been plus the ing form of the word. So an example could be, in November, I will have been studying Spanish for 7 years. So, in this example, I imagine myself going into the future. And for us, this future is November. I don't know what month it is, but the future will be November. So I'm imagining myself in November, and I'm looking back at all the years I've studied Spanish. And I realize this is a special day, a special time for me. This is the time that I will have studied for 7 years. Another example, at 2 p.m., I will have been waiting for 45 minutes. Now, what could that situation be? For example, I'm in the doctor's office. For some reason, I didn't expect to wait at the doctor's office. And I'm looking into my future. And at this point, my future is 2 p.m. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm already at 2 p.m. and I'm looking backwards and I have waited for 45 minutes, but this waiting hasn't happened yet. This waiting is actually my future. So I'm imagining it's 2 p.m. and looking back to tell that story. This is a great example. Why would we use this? Maybe to complain. Do you ever complain to anyone? This is a great way to complain. At 2 p.m., you tell someone on the phone, at 2 p.m., I will have been waiting for 45 minutes. and you're so frustrated about it. I can imagine that happening, right? One more example. When he turns 35, he will have been playing the violin for 20 years. So, this future, he's looking at his future when he is 35 years old. And when he's 35 years old, he knows that will be a special day to look back at his, how many? 20 years. His 20 years of playing the violin. And that will probably be a very special time for him. Maybe he'll even have a celebration. So he's looking forward to it, to see this day in the future, and then look back to tell the story of what has happened over the 20 years of learning to play the violin. I really like this tense, this future perfect continuous tense, because it's great for milestones. Milestones are these special times in life that you can look back and remember and be proud of yourself and know what you've accomplished. And it's a great conversation piece. So you can use this tense for milestones, but also for deadlines, knowing when some activity will end because why? You need to watch Netflix, probably. Do you have a headache now? Has this been too much? I'm sorry if it has, but I hope this has given you a little bit of help, but also hope. English is a little bit crazy sometimes, but with a little hope and a little help, we can make it. And I hope this helped you a little bit to take some new tools and remember them and practice, practice, practice. Please like and subscribe to this video, and there'll be more. Have a great day.